chat with Carl about the new parts, and we're happy that they've been integrated into the car okay. With any luck, you'll be able to feel the improvement, so give them a try.
So, here we are for the final time on F1 2019 and ready to go into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for the end of Season 2. We've already wrapped up the Drivers and Constructors titles, so today it is all just for fun, really. So let's see if we can go out and end our F1 2019 career with a fun race. So let's see. But you'll see on the R&D chart we do get a major engine upgrade, and that puts us miles ahead, even further than before. But we have some interesting news as we go into practice. So let's see what Crofty has to say.
It's going to be an exciting weekend of racing here in Abu Dhabi, but first the teams need to deal with a really unusual occurrence at today's practice session. We're here at the Yas Island circuit, and guess what? It's raining!
So yes, it is raining for free practice 1, and after I don't know how many seasons of playing F1 games, I have never seen rain in any form in Abu Dhabi, so that was quite an interesting experience driving around here in the rain. But the weather forecast for the race and indeed for qualifying as well is all dry, so there won't be any rain to interfere, I guess, when it matters most. But it was quite interesting driving around here in the rain, because around the Abu Dhabi circuit there seems to be a lot of understeer in general, is the general feeling I get, so it was even worse in the rain. So I can only imagine on heavy fuel in the race it would be quite a struggle to even get around the circuit. But yeah, the car feeling like an absolute bus in these conditions. But anyway, it didn't really affect our practice running. Practice 2 and 3 were all dry, so let's just get into qualifying.
Here we are at the beautiful Yas Island circuit, where qualifying is about to begin. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the action. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily. It's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
So we move on to the end of Q1, and you can see that we get through down in 10th position, but that was a fairly ordinary lap, so not too much to worry about there. Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, Kvyat and Kimi Räikkönen knocked out in Q1, so no major surprises there. But we move on to Q2. We show the pace up in 2nd position, but Leclerc looking very, very strong with Gasly, Albon, Butler, Magnussen and Stroll getting knocked out in this one. George Russell getting through instead of Albon. This time Albon has been the faster of the Williams drivers. But anyway, through to Q3 now, and heading through the middle sector. This is actually our 2nd lap in this session. Red to the 1st sector, but we're not going to worry about that too much, because the big mistake we made was later in the lap, on the 1st lap. So as we arrow through the sort of triple chicane and head now through the 3rd sector, we are gaining time, and it looks like we could be on for actually a fairly decent lap, and we just need to try and hold it together for these last 4 or 5 corners, and we should be on to improve our current position. We're currently sitting in P3. Verstappen is currently on the pole position. So as we head through the final 2 corners of the lap, the session is already over, so there's no more chances across the line.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And we do get pole for the final race.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. The scientist, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
And a bit of a mystery one for Charles Leclerc. He's a fair way off of even Verstappen's time. So yeah, Leclerc just not having the pace in Q3, so not sure about that one. Maybe he got some traffic, but anyway, let's get into the race and get this final race of the season underway.
It's twilight here in the United Arab Emirates, and twilight also on another Formula One season. It's been a captivating story throughout the year, but will we see one final dramatic twist before the end? The Marina circuit is made up of 3.4 miles of track, featuring 21 corners with 2 very long straights. DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 8 and turn 11 offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular turns 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the scientist. What a season they've had. A well-deserved championship victory, and the pressure now surely off with the title already in the bag.
It really is well deserved. I wouldn't say it's been a faultless title challenge, but certainly one that has been consistent and well managed. Here's hoping they let off a bit of steam today and give us an exciting race.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. The scientist lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Weber, Bottas, Max Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. And Vettel, Norris, Russell, Gasly, and Alexander Albon. Leclerc, Magnussen, Lance Stroll and Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Perez, Antonio Giovinazzi and Devon Butler. Fiat and Kimi Räikkönen finishes off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, we've already won the championship, so relax and enjoy this race.
That is exactly my intention, Jeff. We will, let's see if we can go out with a fun race. 2 choices of 2 stops here, either 2 softs to mediums or softs to 2 mediums. So we're going to go with the bottom strategy, 2 medium sets of tyres. To the end of the race seems to be the way to go, for me especially. And let's just get into it and have some fun. So as we all line up on the grid for the final race of the season, you would have noticed Leclerc way down with a grid penalty in this one. So it's our race to lose unless Leclerc can make some kind of comeback. But anyway, we go to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the final race of the F1 2019 Season 2. And we're underway, and we're going to lead through the first corner from Lewis Hamilton. Lukas WEBER slots into 3rd. So he has a good opportunity to bring home a solid result for McLaren to end off the season for them. So we'll be looking forward to seeing what he can do in this race. We have to defend the line a little bit as we head into Sector 2, but we've got it under control, and Lewis Hamilton is still behind us, taking a slightly wide line through the first hairpin, but getting through nonetheless, immediately breaking the slipstream along the main straight. But it's all under control for us at the moment, and the race is in our hands to control.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
And that's all we need to do, is just keep up the momentum and just put together 55 solid laps, and we should be able to bring this race home. But we'll see what everyone else has to offer throughout the rest of the race. I'm sure it won't be as simple as it sounds. We've also got Leclerc to worry about as well, so we'll hopefully see at some point his progress through the field, because there's no way he's going to stay down where he started. He will surely come through the field as we make a big mistake through the final sector, come back onto the road though, and we just about don't lose the lead to Hamilton there. But we'll have a look at a replay of the start for Charles Leclerc as he has to defend from one of the Renaults sticking the nose in through the first corner, but a 3 wide ahead of him between Gasly, Norris and Albon. Gasly gets ahead, leaving Norris and Albon to fight side by side through the first sector, and it looks like Albon may get through if he's got the inside line here, but Norris holds on well round the outside, and this is going to be very costly for both of them if they run side by side for too long. And Leclerc is ready to try to take the advantage, and he's able to take the racing line through the hairpin, and he's going to sit in the slipstream of the McLaren. Can he make a move here to the right hand side? They're going to go 3 wide down the back straight, and Norris doesn't quite have the pace of the other two, and Leclerc and Albon are going to run side by side, almost banging wheels there as they head into the middle sector chicane. Down the inside goes Leclerc, and he gets the move done on Alex Albon as well. So a brilliant start, and exactly what Leclerc needs in this race, but it's not going to end there, as he is now fast approaching the back of Pierre Gasly as he's looking around to try to make a move. Little look to the outside, but no opportunity is going to arise there on the second lap of this race. But he's got a good run on the exit of the middle sector chicane. He's going to be putting the pressure on as they head into the triple chicane, and to the right hand side he goes down the outside, and can he make the move here? It's a bit hard to tell at this point, but Gasly I think has held on for now ahead of Leclerc, and confirmation there he has. So great driving there from Leclerc.
We have 2 stops left in this strategy. We have 2 stops planned. Pit window opens in 12 laps time. 12 laps.
As we lose the rear end, so polar opposite races for us so far. Mistake after mistake for us, and we are now right again ahead of Hamilton. So we just can't get any kind of advantage over Hamilton at the moment, as Leclerc once again is putting the pressure on Pierre Gasly, and this time he's going to make the move into the middle sector chicane round the outside, and he should get the move done there to the inside, and quite nicely there gets ahead of Pierre Gasly. But we go back on board with myself, and Lewis Hamilton is right behind me, ready to make the move. Down the inside he goes, and we have to leave the space for him. He's there, and gets the nose ahead as we head through the triple chicane. Round the outside we go though, and we're going to sweep around and maintain the lead of this race, as Hamilton is on the tight line on the inside there, not able to hold it through. But yeah, it was just a bad run for us. But while that was going on, Leclerc was making the move. If you might look on the left hand side, you can see some sparks, and that is because Valtteri Bottas is on the outside, and Leclerc should get the move done here through the middle sector chicane. But Bottas was on the inside line, so he may have a chance to hold it through here, and he remains ahead. But Leclerc to the inside of the triple chicane, and it looks like he will get the move done there, as there are a lot of battles going on up and down the field. Vettel and Russell battling away up ahead too, but still side by side between Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas. Bottas not giving up so easily, and he's still trying to hang on around the outside, but Leclerc does eventually get that move done on the Mercedes car, and moves himself further up the order. So he is flying through the field and doing exactly what he needs to at the moment. And next up is the Williams and the Ferrari of Russell and Vettel, who are battling away once again right now on lap 5. So it has not been very long in this race, and Leclerc has made significant progress towards the front of the field as these two continue to battle away. And it looks like there may be an opportunity for Vettel to come back at Russell. Down the inside he goes, and will he be able to make the move here? It's hard to tell from this angle, but as he's taking the racing line on the exit, it seems like he has gotten the move done. And there, George Russell is now behind Sebastian Vettel, so it has gone well for Vettel there. But we're going to go back now and look at Russell, because Leclerc is very close to him, and he may be able to make a move later on on the next lap if he can stay close enough through this very twisty section of track, but he does not seem to be being affected by dirty air, does Leclerc. He's running so close behind George Russell. He may even have an opportunity heading into the first corner if he can keep this up. A good exit out of the final corner, and Russell is going to have to defend here if he's not careful, and he does defend into the first corner, so this is going to give Vettel an opportunity to get away from these two, and that is exactly what he needs, and not what George Russell needs, because if Vettel gets too far ahead, Russell won't have the DRS along the straight, but Leclerc might get the move done earlier. Russell defends again into the middle sector, but remains ahead of Leclerc for now, but it looks like Vettel may just be out of DRS range for Russell, so that is really unfortunate for the Brit, because he's going to be a sitting duck on the straight, and as you can see, DRS does not open on the Williams, and Leclerc flies straight past, and nothing Russell can do about that. So Charles Leclerc still making significant progress through the field very, very quickly in this race, and he's already on the back of Sebastian Vettel right as he made that move, and he may have an opportunity to overtake Vettel into the triple chicane if he's close enough. He's gaining very quickly to the outside, and let's see if he can make the move side by side with Sebastian Vettel, and maybe some contact there as they run side by side through that very twisty section of track. And can he make the move all the way around the outside? He's still got the nose in, and this is going to be a good fight, but unfortunately for Leclerc, Vettel, his old teammate, holds him off for now. But it has been a lot of battling for Leclerc, and he is making his way through the field very quickly, so it won't be long, I'm sure, until he gets the move done on Sebastian Vettel. So on to lap 7 of the race now. He gets the move done with DRS, and that was a very easy pass for him as this race goes. But yeah, that is most of the traffic cleared now for Leclerc, I think. The only cars left between us are the three on screen now, as Weber goes around the outside of Lewis Hamilton into the middle sector chicane. This will be a nice move if he can pull it off, and through the right-hander it looks like he might just get it done on Lewis Hamilton, and he does. So a really nice move by Lukas Weber. Max Verstappen getting involved now around the outside of Hamilton, and they're going to go three wide along the back straight. Verstappen all the way around the outside of both of them, but it looks like Hamilton is going to get through. But Lukas Weber holds his own and barges his way past both of them, and that is a really nice move by Lukas Weber. A bit of contact made with the two Red Bulls. We'll have a look on the onboard for this move, because it was a really nice one. Didn't quite get the traction out of this corner that he may have wanted to. The McLaren engine, the Renault engine in the McLaren I should say, isn't the most powerful compared to some of the others on the grid. The Red Bulls looking very strong in a straight line though, both of them having the DRS along that second straight, but Weber just did not back out. Hamilton slowed down quite drastically through that chicane. We'll have a look on the onboard with Hamilton to see what he saw as Weber goes down the outside through this middle sector chicane, and very fair for Lukas Weber there, leaving plenty of room for Hamilton to race on the outside there, but Hamilton didn't get the traction he may have wanted to, as Verstappen gets the run on the exit though, but the DRS saving Hamilton and letting him go down the inside a little bit wider of the apex than maybe he may have wanted to, but he slows right down on the third apex of that sort of chicane there, and that cost him not only the position to Weber, but also the position to Verstappen, because into that corner he was the furthest ahead, so to come out third must have been a bit of a mistake for him there, slowing down too much. But here's the run for Verstappen. He actually hesitated on the throttle there as he was sort of cautiously going around the outside of all of them, but just not able to hold around the outside of Weber. And yeah, really nice work by Lucas to hold them off there and hold his own and move himself up into second position. But we move on now to lap 13. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc are into the pits for their respective first pit stops, and I believe both of these drivers are on 3-stop strategies in this race. Nice stop by the Red Bull team, and we'll see likewise for Racing Point, a little bit slower, maybe got a little bit held, but nonetheless it is basically as it was for these two, but they'll get an undercut on myself and Verstappen, who will be stopping on the very next lap. So we'll see what effect that might have on the race. Firstly, he has to overtake Lance Stroll, which he does quite swiftly along the straight line speed of that Mercedes, quite slow towards the end of this season, but quite clumsily we hit the wall there on our in lap. So that
Battery
was...
charge is low. If we turn down the ERS deployment, we can harvest more energy.
I mean, well, that was just a bit stupid, wasn't it? Let's be honest. But anyway, let's get into pit lane. We'll get a new front wing, but this is going to cost us some valuable time in the lane. So let's hope that the lead we had is enough to maintain ourselves ahead of Leclerc and Hamilton.
Release, release.
But I think with the undercut and the damage, repairing the damage, they may have a chance.
One stop left in this strategy.
I love that tunnel. I don't know why the Monaco tunnel doesn't sound like that. But anyway, as we come back on the road, you can see Hamilton sweeps past us. So unfortunately, we did lose the lead or the effective lead, I should say, to Lewis Hamilton. So yeah, that's a shame. But we're still ahead of Leclerc, so that is our main objective, is to stay ahead of him, because very likely he'll be making a move on Hamilton quite soon in this race. But a big mistake through the final sector there, and Leclerc gets the run all the way around the outside, and well, that's it's not gone well. It's not gone well. But it's not over yet. We'll have plenty of opportunities left to try and chase him down, and right now that is exactly what we're trying to do. But he has got other ideas as he's trying to make a move on Hamilton. We're going to go to the inside, down the inside, and I mistake myself. That is actually George Russell that was making that move.
Battery is low on energy. Reduce ERS deployment.
But Leclerc had already made that one. But anyway, so we are back in contention with Charles Leclerc, and we're closer than we've been for a while down the inside, but we just carry way too much speed into the corner, and we hand the spot back to Charles Leclerc, and we go again and find another opportunity later on, hopefully. So we move on again, and we'll see Charles Leclerc in for his second of 3 stops for the day. So both of us now have one more stop in this race. So it really is like, it is what it is now on track, both of us with one stop left. But we've got an issue here for Lando Norris. Is going very slowly, and that is Pierre Gasly straight into the back of him and out of the race for both of them, I think. Pierre Gasly with a wheel off, Norris with some other issue, but we'll go on board with Gasly to see exactly what happened. Oh, that is not what you like to see. Norris with some kind of issue, just had no drive, and yeah, something has gone horribly wrong for that McLaren, and big damage for Pierre Gasly as Bottas just about avoids the incident. But that brings out
virtual safety car, reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta.
But unfortunately it didn't last long enough for us to get around to the pit lane. We actually hit the wall there, but that was intentional this time, because we had some front wing damage from just sending it over the curbs too much. So I decided this time we're going to intentionally break the front wing and make sure they change it, basically, was my logic there.
Front wing is damaged. Expect a lot of understeer unless we replace it.
So that was my theory, is that if I damage it enough they will change it, and they are changing it, thankfully. So that is good news for us, and we'll be able to push on with a fresh front wing.
Exit now.
For the rest of the race, but I decided that it was worth the trade-off of time.
Speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
As we almost crash through the tunnel. But moving on now, we are right behind Max Verstappen. He's on old tyres, so we're going to go to the outside of the triple chicane, round the outside, and we get the move done pretty easily. And now we need to push absolutely flat out to make sure that Charles Leclerc does not get out of pits in front of us. So yeah, that happened. Charles Leclerc did get the jump on us after we changed the front wing and lost time there. So now we have a different challenge on our hands, and we have to push absolutely flat out and drive at the absolute maximum to see if we can try to make up the time on older tyres versus our teammate and try and come back into this race. It's not over yet. We'll see how it goes. So we move on now, and you can see there's just 4 laps to go, and we have more than a lap of fuel to make up and save before the end of the race. So that's as much as I'm willing to push, and it's time to just save this fuel and consolidate this second place, because the race win just is not on the cards at this point. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but Leclerc has well and truly earned it today.
This is your final lap of the race.
But not only is this the final lap of the race, it is the final lap of the season. So we're just going to enjoy this one. We've got a massive gap to Lukas WEBER behind, who has a good chance of standing up on the podium with us in this final race. That will be quite poetic if that can happen, if he can hold on to that position. He's been running well the entire race.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
We still have plenty of fuel to save, but we're just going to weave around and have some fun on this final lap of our entire F1 2019 career. And as we head through this middle sector chicane for the final time, just thinking about everything that has happened, and I thought it would be a good idea to make a highlights video of everything that has happened and my favourite moments. So that will be coming out later, but we're going to do some donuts and just have some fun, because the gap to Lukas WEBER behind is pretty big, so we can afford to waste a bit of time. But here is Charles Leclerc coming around the final corner, and he is going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And back on board with myself to finish off the season. And just like at the end of season 1, we're going to cross the line with no fuel left in the car, but this time we don't lose a position.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
And an incredible win for Racing Point. A brilliant performance. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
The Racing Point team will be very happy with today's performance and the final result. Another display of excellent driving and excellent teamwork, and a well-deserved first-place finish.
So there you have it. We end off the series, with a podium with our old teammate Lukas WEBER and our new teammate Charles Leclerc, and that's quite a poetic way to end, I think.
This result narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings.
Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
The Constructors' Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. With that result, the title is secure, and it's Racing Point who claim the honours. Their days of struggling in the midfield now seem a distant memory. They're a giant in this sport now, and truly a force to be reckoned with.
There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thank you, Crofty, for the final time. But the next one will be in how long was that? A week or two? In F1 2020, just over a week actually. When I get the game, I have pre-ordered the deluxe edition, so hopefully I'll be able to be making video of that as of the 7th of June when the Schumacher edition comes out. But yeah, I am very much looking forward to that, and hopefully uploading more often when that game comes out. But back to talking about this race. A pretty fun one actually. I made the mistake of knocking off the front wing. I think I would have been better off not doing that and just dealing with the little bit of damage that I had. But really it was the mistake the first time, damaging the front wing just before the first pit stop, that set this race going in a bad direction. But what is going on with this highlights camera? I think something's broken here, but that would not surprise me. I always manage to break something in this game. But anyway, yeah, no real crazy things happening in that race other than Pierre Gasly and his crash with Lando Norris. But that's nothing we haven't seen before from this game. It happened to Alex Albon at Spa, if memory serves me right, crashing into the back of Daniel Ricciardo. I couldn't even tell you what season that was in at the moment, but I think it was season 1. But yeah, that I feel like that was actually quite a nice poetic way to end the series, with a podium with my teammate and with Lukas WEBER up there as well. It was nice to see, because he has not had a lot of success throughout my career mode. He's been doing well, of course, but podiums have been quite rare for him, so that was nice to see, and a nice way to say goodbye to our F2 teammate in this game. But this replay system is broken.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
Oh, there's no secret. It's just an ever-improving car, really. The team have been working flat out, and we've got a big advantage.
You've had experience with Devon's fast, aggressive style. Any advice for the drivers he passed today?
I think you just need to try to match him. Obviously, he's very talented, very fast, very aggressive, and you need to display all the same traits if you want to be able to fight with him on track.
You had a pretty close finish with Lukas. What's it like racing a former teammate?
It's awesome to see him doing quite well these days. The McLaren, obviously with some improvements this weekend, and a bit of luck going his way, and you know, surprise, surprise, he's up there and being very competitive. So it's great to see.
How does it feel, sharing a Formula 1 podium with your old F2 teammate?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Obviously, he's a good friend, and yeah, it's great to see him doing well, as I just said. So yeah, it feels amazing, to be honest. I'm very, very happy for both of us.
Great. Well, that's everything.
The end of that last question went a bit weird there. But anyway, that brings the final race weekend of the season, the series, I should say, to a close. Unfortunately, Leclerc still beating us in that rivalry, but that will forever be unresolved, unfortunately. But anyway, resource points, not a big deal because we're not continuing this series. But look how many we get for getting to the end of the season. 3,700 resource points. It is absolutely ridiculous. But it looks like we're at a cutscene.
Nice job this season. You've been performing well, and that's putting us in a strong negotiating position contract-wise. Plus, my 10%'s getting more valuable. So enjoy your break, and keep up the good work next year.
I will try.
Great work this weekend. It was fantastic to see you up on that podium.
Okay, now I'm just getting ghost voices on a black screen. That's lovely. But yeah, not sure what else to do? We've got a new contract to negotiate for next season, but I can't really do that because the next season I do will be in the next game, so we'll have to wait until that comes out. So here are the stats from all the seasons. I'll just flick through them on the screen now in case you're interested. But yeah, that is just about it for this. I think we ended up with the same number of race wins throughout the season as Charles Leclerc. So in terms of you know, in race wins, we were very close with Leclerc, just bad luck going his way, and we made the most of the bad days. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in F1 2020. Goodbye.
Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.